Welcome to another episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast with your host, Josh from North Country Woodworking.
Nat from Wackey Worx LLC. And with us, we have special guest, Sir. Let them know who you are.
Matt Wackerly with Wackey Worx Workshop.
Dropping it like it's hot. I'm telling you what.
Welcome.
So if you don't know Matt here, he has his own podcast. You want to tell us a little bit about that before we start diving into our own?
Sure. Our podcast is called Creative Makers Podcast. We shoot it live every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern. We have me, Matt Wackerly with Wackey Worx, and Joey Gonzalez of Steel Blade Woodworks, Jake Thompson, Northside Custom Crafts, Jen of Jen's Turns, and JP of JP Woodwork. All on there. We host it all. We interview a lot of guests. We talk about topics of what's going on in our shops or things that you could do, our own opinions of what could be done in your shop to make it better, or tools that you use to make better. We interviewed a lot of interesting people this year so far, like Izzy Swan. We've done Dreadnought Workshop. There's the list. This goes on and on of people that we've done caps with Blacktail Studios, and it's been a real good year so far.
Yeah, it definitely has. You guys have progressed quite a bit since you first started. Watching that progress has been amazing, man. You guys have a great group that come on and record, and then you got some great guests that come on. So if you guys haven't listed out, go check out the podcast. Watch it live. If you do woodworking, maybe you can get hooked up and become on their podcast and have that conversation.
There you go.
Same with ours. we all like our guests, don't we? And today he's gonna be a guest host. So Tim is at a softball game, and so we're gonna roll it like it's hot and go right into it.
That's where I just came from, softball.
I have so many comments I would like to make right now. Anyway,
I play sports. What can I say?
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it.
I mean, you were just be weird about it. So I was like, all right, I'll just shut up now.
Okay. We'll move on from this because it's a rabbit hole we shouldn't dive into. Anywho, so Matt, man, what got you into woodworking? I mean, like, what was the spark?
So I was my mom used to, single mom. She used to, push me into doing stuff and all the time. And so she was remodeling houses. So I've been remodeling houses with her since I was about 5. But I never really dove into doing my own thing until I was about 15. And they had this whole thing going on about sound competitions. And they said, hey, you think you can build a speaker box? Sure, I can build a speaker box. So I figured out all the dimensions, came up with the drafting for it, drafted it all up, and we built a speaker box. And I built a couple of them, and then we ended up building one big enough that we took it to the sound competition in Stone Mountain, placed second in the stone competition for MTX Terminator, and thought that was pretty cool, and just kept on working with it, and always watched New Key Workshop, Norm, and everything. So just piqued my interest. It was angles, it was math, it was fun, and just got into doing that and started building up a tool collection. Never stopped. Just became a bigger kid with bigger tools.
Talking about tools in your collection, I've been at your shop, and it is one of the better shops I've seen out there. The size seems to perfectly meet your needs for the most part. I know you always want a bigger shop.
Of course.
But
who doesn't?
Outside looking in, it's a beautiful shop. You have everything designed and put in like a very particular place. And that kind of stems from what I would assume your love of working with wood and the engineer background that you have. What do you do on the outside? I mean, because that plays into what you're doing. That's why I kind of want to dive into that.
Yeah, my day job is I work for an engineering firm. We are a third-party testing firm or engineering firm. So we're not just testers, we're engineers. We test commercial materials for commercial sites such as concrete, rebar. If you're stud inspections for IBC and stuff like that, IBC codes, your welding inspections, any kind of thing like that, we do all that inspections, floor flatness, there's anything to do with it, we do it. I do a lot of compression testing for concrete, flexible strength concrete, stuff like that. So just all that weird stuff that nobody knows happens when they build a job site.
So, I mean, I gotta put this. So you're talented and smart. Okay, maybe a little bit on the talented part.
The smart part, like, I don't know.
No, I'll give him the smart part. I've had enough conversations to realize that sometimes he talks way above my head. But I mean,
hard to do.
I'm smart in a room. I'm smart in a room of mediocre people. There you go.
No, see, I think that.
Just
To be quite
hold
frank,
the phone here. Wait a minute. We're complimenting anyway.
I know, backhanded there. Go ahead.
To make it, I guess, put it frankly, you're smart at something most people probably aren't too smart in. It's not a common thing to be smart with.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, in high school, reading, no. Math, yeah, I was really good at math. I was really good at running fast, but I was reading, no. Reading comprehension, none of that stuff. I had to learn how to comprehend and read as I got older because I wanted to. Back then, it was like I was being forced it, and no, definitely not. History, it was easy because it was just, remembering things.
Yeah.
Same thing as formulas. You just remember formulas and you can just pass tests quickly. So I don't consider myself a smart guy. I consider myself someone that can get things done. That's the way I look at it.
That's a good way.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, because I listen to other people's talking to them like, were you speaking English? Seriously? That whole time?
Hey, sometimes we're not, though. Sometimes it's just dialect of gibberish, that you just can't pick up,
Yeah.
Well, we all speak two languages here. We speak English and bad English, and bad English is our first.
I speak mostly bad English, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I speak gooder English. Yep.
Gooder or betterer.
Yeah. So kind of diving back into the shop. So we got your background. We got, how you came into it. You planned that shop out to the T. You want to talk about that and how you did that?
So I'm on version, 4.0.
Yes.
So, but yeah, so planning 14, it. So what I did is I designed the layout next to my house, and I built the retaining wall by hand. Got that completely built, and then I was ready to pour a slab and knew I wanted a bathroom in it, and laid it all out in SketchUp. Got everything I needed. Even though it's 15 feet from my house, I still wanted a bathroom because
I don't blame you.
It's comfort. Because some days you just can't make it. But no. Exactly.
That's why the humidity is high in your shop, Nap.
There you go. So when I sketched it all up, I got exactly what I wanted, and my wife suggested a steel building, and I did the math on it, and it was much cheaper to do a steel building fully insulated with vapor barrier, the whole 9 yards, than it would be to do it studded, doing the same exact thing. Literally by, I think it was like $11,000 cheaper. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And I went on a site called Olympia Buildings, and that's where I got my shop from. They have a clearance section is what they call it, but it's actually people have bought buildings. They've started them. They didn't finish them because they said basically they backed out. So they have, certain sizes of buildings that you can get. And I found something, I wanted a 30 by 40 is what I wanted. And they had a 40 by 28. So, I lost 2 feet, and I lined it up with the front of the house, figured up the back. That's where I put my retaining wall. It shipped. I got it all. It took a while to put it together. I had it was supposed to be delivered on June 17th, and on June 13th, a tree fell across the yard across the road while I was driving, and I ran into a 30-inch diameter red oak tree, and my arm went through the windshield, came back out, and ligaments didn't. So, or tendons didn't. So they had to reconnect all my tendons, and so here I am on the 17th with a lull, trying to unload the truck myself, one armed, and but we got it out and got it on dunnage, and waited until I could actually move and get use of my hand, and then we started staying in the building. And we started pouring the concrete. And the reason we started pouring the concrete is I said, listen, we've been holding onto this insulation now for 3 months. Mm-hmm. We're tired of holding it. It's coming. And so I had to hurry up and pour the slab and get everything done. So I had someplace to put the insulation. And because it was a whole entire truck of insulation. And so we got the building all made out and poured out and laid out, stood up, and got the building built and got the power ran, which was a whole conundrum in itself. Because I converted my house from a 200 amp service to a 400 amp service, was split to two 200 amp services because I didn't want to pay.
You have 2 sub panels, or
So I have a split panel that goes, and I have a 200 amp panel in my shop and a 200 amp panel in my house.
Okay.
And it's because I didn't want to pay for a $35 bill a month. That's why I did all that. Plus, they were going to charge me $1,700 to connect it, but if I converted it to 400 amps, it was free. And let me do the math on that. Free. Yeah. Okay. I'm going that way.
Yeah. Let me tabulate the 1, carry the 4.
Yeah. And I took off my shoes,
F-R-E-E.
cut off a toe, and free. Got it.
Yeah, perfect.
But then laid out the complete shop in SketchUp and started building it. And, you get things built and you get done and you're all happy, and then something new comes in and you go, where's that going to go? So version 4.0. So I originally had a resin room, and I had just one mezzanine. Then you get more stuff. I'm on my second mezzanine, and resin room is gone. The CNC was gone. Now my new CNC is installed. I have the Foreman now, and the Elite Foreman. It's pretty nice. I can't lie.
The Elite machine, I'm going to tell you right now, mind you, I'm not going to give too many kudos to Winfinity because, they don't sponsor us or anything.
Right.
But what I will tell you is the machine itself is a wonder. And then coupled with the ATC, I'm going to tell you something. If I stopped staring at the damn thing, it would actually save me time. But every time it works,
you just want to watch it.
Yeah, well, there's that. And then also I'm still getting the warm fuzzies because I actually saw something come up recently with the, what you call it, collet or the tool holder falling out because the Z wasn't set properly on someone's wasteboard. So they went down to pick up the bit. It didn't lock it in, and it Beybladed across their surface. So I was like, okay. So believe it or not, during tool changes, I kind of gather when they're going to come now. So I just push the red button before it even spins up, give it a quick, shake, and it's good. I think at this point I'm good. I think I can just let it roll. I think my Z height's fine. I've run multiple jobs and it's fine now. But I'm going to tell you something. That piece of machinery is holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay? I've seen people have a lot of problems lately. But I think some of that is a lot of, I'm going to say 95 to 98% of that is human error.
Oh, yeah.
I think personally.
I mean, like me, I customized mine right off the bat. I mean, I didn't it comes with the riser plates that they have, the steel riser plates, and I automatically put mine on it. Automatically.
Yeah. Your riser blocks, I'm still using those. I still have those on my machine right now, and they're perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would I change this? This has been working for me. I can get more Z with what I got. And actually, I would venture to say, depending on how your spindle's set up, I could probably get an extra couple inches on to rise it up higher if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of travel on that Z.
Yep. Yeah, and then the other, with it being that, it was like a lack of thought of your Z height, the travel there, because literally with theirs on, it's like 3.5 inches, but you gave me 5.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why wouldn't I raise it 2 more inches up to get that 5.5?
You have a spindle, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay. Mm-hmm. I do. Okay. So you have a spindle, and I think here's why, and maybe I'm just spitballing here.
Okay.
The Winfinity was not inherently made to house a spindle. Did they make it possible? Yes. However, I think because they were going hobbyist market, not so much production market, they were going with Makita router, which is smaller and requires a much larger degree of travel because it's a shorter shank or shaft, if you will. Whereas a spindle, that some bee is already almost damn near touching the wasteboard, and you're barely down 2-3 inches. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that might be why. Spitballing.
See, me, dumb guy, sitting in a room with smart people. So.
Yeah, he's just spinning info over there.
No, believe it or not, I just came up with that like just now because I was like, actually, that's weird. No.
Well, I caught it on my journeyman that I had all this travel, and I wasn't using the top 2 inches of that travel, and I'm like,
yep.
Well, if I'm not using that top 2 inches, how could I make it so I could flatten slabs more? I can do this, and that's why I wanted to raise those blocks up. So when I designed that, that's what I designed it for the 2 inches, and yeah, that was just me.
When you have a tool like that, you got to use every inch.
Exactly.
No inch left behind.
Exactly. I mean, don't say I'm not trying. Giving her my all, but yeah. So, but I got the shop built, got everything, and like I said, as you get more tools, you change it around, and I'm on the current version now. You can check out my shop tour. It's on YouTube now.
Oh hell yeah! Check it out.
Yeah.
Because it's probably come a long way since we saw it when we were there in Atlanta. So
it's actually clean now. Yeah, and
you keep saying that. I've yet to see it,
but it's the corner didn't have the CNC in it, and I just now I'm building the CNC and got everything in there, and I was videoing it. So I haven't published that yet. I got to go through and the hours of footage of me sitting there with spinning a screw in and take all that stuff out of there that nobody wants to see. But I did do a tutorial or a video on the stiffener because I watched the video of theirs, and one of the things, and one of the things I couldn't figure out is which way it went. Does the triangle go in the front or does it go in the back? So I watched the first part of the video and the triangle was in the front. The second part was in the back. The next part was in the front. And I went, which way does it go?
Goes in the square hole. Okay. And the circle goes.
Well, if you look at the stiffy,
hole.
It's got a triangle that's in the front. Is in the front of it, but you can't tell which side it was on in the video. And so.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that was clear.
So, question for you: did you just get a full Elite Foreman, or did you do the upgrade route?
Full Elite Foreman.
Okay.
So, what I sold my journeyman for, the upgrade would have cost me the same amount, and I went, I would rather sell my journeyman, and not have to do all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because the work itself, believe it or not, this is also having some know-how of CNCs, right? It probably took me hour and a half to actually set the machine up just because I was very meticulous in how I set it up. I have extra tubes and water cooling lines, air lines, because I had the ATC. I was doing ATC and that in tandem. So it was like a whole upgrade, at the same time. So I had to dissect, okay, when am I going to stop doing my Onefinity upgrade? And then when am I going to start my PWN upgrade? And then when did those meet? And I figured it out, So.
Yeah. My question is, did you have to upgrade your drag chain?
No, because here's why. I bought a larger drag chain once upon a time from a fella. I can't remember his name. I feel bad because I can't remember his name, but it was on Etsy. And he made a drag chain bracket much larger than the one Onefinity currently gives. It's, I would say, about yay wide.
So you had to upgrade the drag chain. Basically, you couldn't use the existing.
Well, so I upgraded it before I even did the upgrade.
Right.
So I already had a larger drag chain already, just because I had already had the hoses and stuff from a regular 2.2, and then really adding the extra couple baby hoses was not much of a lift for that drag chain. So yes, I had to upgrade initially when I started way long time ago. But then when I got the ATC upgrade, I didn't have to go up again. I already had the space.
So one of the things is I thought about that. So I set my Onefinity up without all my PW and CNC stuff. And then I thought about because I have a water cooled spindle. So instead of running those hoses in the drag chain, I ran them on the dust collection.
So, okay, I like that. The only reason why I don't do that, I think, is because I've changed my dust collection like 7 or 8 times now.
But the hose is going to be the same, and so it's just connected to the hose. That's it.
Right. I don't know. I have this. So I actually did something like that. I hung my. This is when I was in San Antonio. I hung my DC from the ceiling,
Mhm.
and then I had all the other stuff, attached to it.
Yeah.
I just didn't like having it. Just seemed to make it heavy, and it just I don't know. I just didn't like it. Me personally,
Yeah.
your setup is a little different than mine because you have more. You have an actual space, like a spot that's like it's ready for the CNC. It's not as high of a ceiling to drop that in. So it's a little different for you, right? You can do like a boom, and it would work great.
Yeah, well, one of the things I forgot about when I was doing this is I wanted to be able to move my CNC. So I put casters. I did everything I was supposed to do there, and I ran the dust collection, and I ran it so it had 2 ports. So I can pop off the dust collection off one, hook it up to the other one, and it would move out further. And but when I ran the water lines, I ran it for the first one, and I didn't rub it to double back to hook to the first one. And so when I had already cut the line. So I decided to put a water flow meter in so that I could connect and add more line. So it looks like I did this on purpose, like so I had enough line. It was looked perfect, but what it was a mistake. So that water flow meter was.
When we video chatted, you sold me and you doing it on purpose, and now the truth comes out because he's totally like, "Yeah, look at what I got. I got this. I'm gonna connect." I'm like, "Well, that's really smart." He's like, "Yeah, sure is."
Brother, I'm gonna tell you something. We're as makers, we make stuff happen.
Exactly.
Like, it'll be like that's not how I intended that, but that looks great. I like it.
Happens
and you convince yourself to like it because it might be terrible, but you convince yourself that's awesome. It's love
awesome. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was the design of the shop, and it's like I said, it's an ever evolving thing. But my functionality was the very first build that I ever did in the shop, which was the table saw build. So if you don't know, I have a 1948 Delta Rockler table saw that was completely refurbished. And I built it up taller because I'm not a short guy. And I wanted to be able to work not hunched over.
Yep.
And a normal table saw's height is 32 inches. Mine is 41 and a half is where everything's at. And so it's perfect height for me to sit there and just stand up and I can push stuff. I ain't got to bend over. That was the whole reasoning for the build. So I was lazy and I didn't want to bend over.
Well, so nothing wrong with that. I'm bending over all the time in that shop.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the very first build, and I built the whole entire shop around that heart of the shop. So
what I can tell you about your shop now, we went to Matt's shop when we were in Atlanta for Workbench Con this past year, or a few months ago. I said this past year.
And just to let y'all know, first of all, you are the only 2 people that have ever been in my shop. Ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've never allowed anybody else in here.
Well, it was a privilege because I learned a lot, and because of you, it what is it called? Inspired me to make my dust collection the way it is now. It works freaking phenomenally. If it worked better if I got my blast gates in the mail, but it's neither here nor there.
I got some extra ones you want me to send them to you.
Hey, but no
we'll
BS.
see each other.
Yeah, I need I might need to talk to you on the side though too about your little dust contraption that you made because I love that thing and I need one because this bag shit has got to go.
Yeah,
I love it. I still haven't emptied it yet. Like I've not that I've been in the shop,
and you can see it. You can see it as it builds up, and then when you go to do it, you just hook your shop back up to it and blow your filter out, and it sucks all the dust up. So you got a mess.
And I need that. That right there. Like right now, my current issue with any of my suction is because my filter gets a little clogged.
Correct. That's what keeping your filter clean is key.
But what I can tell you, regardless of even it being a little clogged, the bag that it currently has doesn't get a lot of dust in it anymore. The barrel I have is perfect. I actually don't use full 55-gallon drum bags. I use, I think they're 30 or 40 gallon. So when I fill them to the brim, because we talked about this, about how when you have your barrel, it just falls right out, no problem. Whereas mine has the concave top.
Yep.
So it actually wasn't bad. As soon as it filled up, I tied the bag up, I flipped the barrel over, it came right out. So I'm as long as I use a smaller bag, I'm okay. And now if I use a full 55-gallon drum, now that might be a little crazy.
Yeah.
But it works great.
Yeah, I use a 44-gallon bag is what it is, and it's the construction bag. And
Real
I put I put it over the edge, and then I pull over the edge just a touch, and I put a shop vac inside of it, and I suction all the air out of it so it pulls it tight to the sides.
Man, see, this is what we're talking about. You're giving me more ideas. Now I got more shit to do. Thanks.
It makes it super simple. Now on yours, what I would do is this is super. It sounds stupid, but it works. Drill a hole in the side of it at the very bottom, and then put a shop vac on that, and then push a plug back in it. If you don't push a plug back in it, the bag sucks up and it won't fill up as much.
Yep. So that's something I'm running into right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to go out to my shop here probably after this podcast. I'm going to do that because I've already drilled 4. I actually drilled 4 holes thinking that it was going to help. It did not.
No,
so
you need suction.
I taped 4 holes.
Mm-hmm.
Taped all 4 holes. They're small. They're not like fucking. Yeah. They're not half-inch or nothing like that. They're like 1/8 of an inch holes. So I'll untape one, suction, retape, let it do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it still works great, regardless. You know, the floor scoop works. I still need to make an attachment that has like a full, like a sweepable hood, if you will, so I can sweep stuff in and not have to sit there and play hockey trying to get it into the the 4-inch pipe. But
how was the increase
in there too? That way.
Yeah, magnet to keep from getting the screws up in your system.
So funny thing about that.
Screw that.
So funny thing about that, and Matt, I think we talked about this, and maybe even Josh. I don't remember. It's been a few months now, but getting old, got liver spots, So
yeah, look at this.
So
this guy.
Even if I did suck any screws or anything up in there, here's the beautiful thing: it never touches the impeller because it goes into the cyclone. So
but it'll hit your bag, poke a hole in your bag. Yes,
allegedly.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, that new impeller I have, sounds like a damn jet engine starting. Like instead of
how's the suction on it though?
It's better, much better.
So.
Oh no, I did not doubt you one bit when you told me to get that new the Wen impeller. I bought that thing quick and easy. I literally looked up, took the screws out, popped the impeller out, put the new impeller in, put the screws back on, and that was all she wrote.
It was like 5-minute job. Yeah.
Send me that link.
Yeah, I'll forward it to you. I got it from Matt.
So I know it's funny because I haven't really cleaned my filter out, and which has put it for a very long time. So I wonder if I should probably do that.
You might want to do
most
that.
Definitely. Yeah.
I
mean, like literally, because I gave you that clean out, and you just hook your shop back up to it.
Yeah.
Just blow it out with a air compressor, and you're done.
Yeah, I definitely have to.
The thing is Josh, and this is no shot at Josh, right? So, he's been a pretty busy guy between other work. He gets in the shop not as much as and Matt, you might not even get in the shop as much as maybe I do. Like I'm in there damn near every day, maybe on the weekends, most times.
Twice a week, maybe now.
Yeah, Josh is in there maybe 3 or 4 times a week, maybe, unless he's got a deadline to meet. You know what I mean? So his filter is going to be as crazy, and that's not a shot at.
We're talking a while,
Well,
a while.
I do have one thing that I'm building right now. I got a Frankenstein together right now. I have my Clearview hooked up to my Harbor Freight because I don't have a filter off the back end of my Harbor Freight right now. Because I am building a direct into the filter instead of going into the shroud. It's going to go directly into the filter, and it'll be a larger opening, which allows more airflow to go out of the Harbor Freight, which means it allows more airflow to come in. So instead of being a 4-inch export or discharge, it'll be it's a 6.5 by 4.5 square that'll be going directly into it. So you might like that too.
Well, I look forward to seeing those videos, but what I can tell you is this: Harbor Freight, when I was early into the game, I used to kind of talk down on it a little bit. Central Machinery, I think, is what the brand is that Harbor Freight sells. That dust collector, I don't care who you are. You set that thing up right, that thing's going to work great for you.
Oh God, yes.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, me and Joey did the comparison video. He did, I did mine with the one, the Oneida Super Dust Deputy, and then he did his with the Grizzly system, and we got comparable results. But the CFM was the kicker. It was perfect. I mean, we ruined a lot of off from it, but until we looked up to saw there was an actual direction on that thing. So you open the box and the instruction booklet and you throw that over there in the trash can, and then you just start using it, right?
We're doing man shit, all right?
Exactly.
It's and real man shit.
I think we're on our third or fourth one, and Joey looks up and says, "Do you see that arrow? Huh? Arrow? What arrow?" Yeah. That didn't go very well.
Mistakes were made. It's all good. I remember that was a good series.
Yeah.
But to reel it back in real quick, but as far as going to your shop, I know I was talking about that a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot from your shop. I really did. I pulled a lot of things away. I can only incorporate so much right now because, I got a garage shop. I don't have a cool shop like you do. I one day would love to have a shop like you do. I think retirement will afford me that. But I can tell you the dust collection piece, I learned a lot from your setup. And then obviously, looking up, a couple other makers and just seeing like what other like little tips and tricks. But I've learned the majority of this stuff from your shop and just taking pictures and, you explaining it to me. It took me maybe 3-4 hours to like set it up the way I wanted to.
Yeah. And it's going to be an ever evolving thing.
Sure.
But the most that you can learn from all the stuff that we've done is the less flex hose that you use, the better dust collection you're going to have.
Yeah. Gotta do that.
Oh, and don't forget to ground your PVC, folks, because that shit gets really shocky.
I've never had any problem out of mine, but mine's sitting on my beams and columns and stuff like that. So
it's grounding itself.
Right. So
mine
maybe
is not.
Yeah.
That's
adversity.
That's adversity. Leave some time this coming year and come down. Matt, you too, if you want, and we can work on the shop and get it up to par.
Yeah. I'm all about working on other people's shops. I mean, I've done it before. Like I've traveled to Jake's and helped him build his resin room. I have no problem helping people out build their shops. I love it.
Well, in 4.5 years when I retire and I put my dream shop together, all y'all are invited to
I'll be
come
there.
help, but also I will supply the food and drink because that's just how I do business.
I'm all about food. If you didn't see me, I'm all about the food.
Listen, brother, we're all about the food, okay? Like, it's okay. Round is a shape, brother. Like, it's good.
Exactly. Good. Round will fit in a square hole. Just got to show it.
It's been proven. I saw this video. The chick, her anxiety was so high.
I loved
the arch goes in the square hole. She goes, but circle goes in the
square hole.
Goes to the square hole.
I love that video.
Honestly, like
I have to stop and watch it every time. Every time it comes out of my,
I have to watch it because you know what's going to happen. But her anxiety gets so high, you're just like,
yeah,
that's me.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yep. I love it.
But good, man. I'm glad the shop is doing well. I will learn SketchUp from you one of these days because the SketchUp thing is pretty dope. I wish I knew a little more about it. I think I could figure it out. I just haven't done it. I haven't had a real reason to do it. Now, when I get a shop, like when I okay, I want to build my shop out, then I think I'll really get serious about it. But
the two people I learned the SketchUp from the most was Jay Bates when he was first giving classes on that, and then Drew Short. I don't know if y'all remember Drew Short.
Yeah, I've heard both those names.
Drew Short used to come in there and go bam, all the time. I loved it. But he would do tutorials. And I learned so many things from him, like on legs, being able to do legs on one side and then be able to mirror them on the other side. So if you made changes to one leg, it's still going to make changes to the other one, but it's going to be on the, it's just simple stuff like that. And it was just like genius. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Let's see if this guy paid his invoice. You got money for that mustache and got my money.
How goes the turning, Josh?
Turning. So there's a story behind turning.
Okay. I like to hear stories.
Yeah. I don't know if I shared it on here or not.
Is it about a lovely lady? Is it a lovely lady?
So I had a coworker and He only gets his he only gets his kids every once in a while, and he got into wood burning. And I'm the only woodworker he knew. He's like, "So you have a shop? Do you mind if we stop by and check it out?" I'm like, "I'll do you a little better. We'll do a project. We'll try different things and see what sparks his interest." And while he was there, we did a Assassin's Creed logo, the pirate version.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's the newest version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, we did a whole thing on the laser, got that painted and acrylic and wood, and he kind of really enjoyed that. And then he asked about, turning. So we got that set up. We started turning. And you ever see like the light turn on in someone's eyes? They get like just,
Yep.
They know, everyone. And like, my coworker, he's a good friend of mine. He turns around and he's just this big smile, a kid smile, and they were looking at getting one. So a month or two, maybe a month went by, and I'm looking at it. It's getting dusty. And, we were at a bowling thing for the shop because we had someone deploying. And he had his kid there. And I'm watching, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm like, "You guys, when you get done, stop at the shop." And he's like, "Okay, cool." So they stopped, and I gave him the lathe and a bunch of stuff that goes with it to get him started so that he can start his woodworking journey, and he can spend some time with his dad and do something that they both enjoy. So
nice.
So it's not really going very well for me, but there is someone out there that's starting the woodworking journey that's going pretty well for them. So
mine sounds greedy. I sold mine, so I sold the small one. I sold the small one. So me. I kept the two big ones. So,
well, I mean, you, like I said, you definitely have a setup for it. I'm gonna get back into it. I've been looking, and there's actually a Nova for sale around me that's like $350. Comes with a whole bunch of rests and everything. I'm gonna have to let it go to the Facebook Marketplace gods there. But there seems to be some pretty good deals that pop up here once in a while. It feels like when I start looking at other stuff, that's when I see the tool stuff at decent prices pop up.
Of course. So, it's always around when you don't want it. It's like herpes.
Or crabs. Anyway, so yeah, believe me, I kind of wish I still had it, but it's at a better place. It definitely is going to make their his journey start, because you can see it. Like, it just like when I'm like, I bring it out, I'm like, "It's yours," and he's like, jaw dropped and didn't even know what to say. The typical dad thing. My buddy was like, "What do you say?" And he's like, But yeah, that's kind of that. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta help people along, and that's what I did. So, but yeah, as far as like things in the shop, it's more about experimenting right now. I'm in my experimentation phase where I go in there and get to do fun stuff.
So college?
Yeah, almost. It's like midlife crisis almost. So no, to be completely honest, I go in there and I knock stuff out. I took some time off this week, and I'm working at a different job while I'm working in the shop, trying to knock out everything I can. So when I get back, it's like a clean slate. I just ordered $150 worth of epoxy, a whole bunch of stuff from Amazon that should be showing up here sometime soon. And that's going to allow me to kick some projects out, then allow me to deep port.
Okay.
Total boat, of course. Okay. There are other good brands out there. If I didn't wait to the last minute to try to get this done, then I probably could experiment with other brands. But I know Towboat for me works really well.
Yeah.
So this is the last project I consider that's due out. I have some plaques and stuff, but I did a plaque in like an hour today. I have that process pretty much nailed down. In fact, they're sending me a label tomorrow and shipping out tomorrow for overnight. So I have a deal with a good friend of mine where I provide him plaques. He provides the label, and I can do a pretty quick turnaround because he provides me all information, payment at the same time in the label, which is a sweet deal.
Yeah.
But he did get a rush fee this time just because I kind of felt bad for it. But, sometimes when it's you got to do it that day within an hour or two of them letting you know, you kind of have to hit them a little bit with it. But
yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm in the shop. I'm doing some stuff. I have some stuff planned. I have designs I'm going to be testing out, revamping the shop a little bit. Kind of talked about that on here already. And with that, I'm going to need some more storage. So to my right is going to be some racks eventually, and that's where my shipping / my inventory is going to kind of sit. And then I will have a section probably behind me right here where I can hang things and kind of like take pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of reorganize this a little bit eventually. I'm going to have a little bit more space in the house. So I'm going to utilize it. And then, yeah, just I kind of talked to Matt about this, and App already knows. This year's been a busy year, and I've come to the realization I can't give it my 100% like I have in the past. So I don't want to say a throwaway year, but it is kind of a year where I'm just kind of lipping through, and it will start fresh this coming year. And with that whole bunch of different ideas, it's allowed me to kind of step back, take a look what I need to do and stuff like that. So, which I guess is healthy, they tell me.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. That's about it. Like I said, I made a plaque. I actually got 2 more I got to make for the Inspector General here on base. And then 3 more to go up to Jersey. And then I got that clock project that I plan on knocking out. I got everything I need for it now. And as much of a pain as that thing is, I'm going to knock it out. So I run an idea by you guys. So I have some trim that I have taken the stain off, but there's little pieces I can't get in there with a scrape or anything. I was thinking about taking my power washer and power washing those areas out. What are your thoughts?
I think you're introducing moisture to wood.
Yeah, that's my worry too. But it's old.
At Harbor Freight, they have something that goes on your air compressor.
Yeah,
it's a canister, and you can put whatever you want to in it, sand, whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a sand blaster, except for it's just for a tip for your air compressor.
Okay, so we're gonna have to schedule you on a little bit more because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight.
They also do walnut. Is it walnut, or there's a nut shaving that they put on there too?
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is why I bring it up. I just thought about, I know introducing water or moisture to wood is not the best, but
no.
Try to get some of that stuff out, and then I was going to dry it out. But
you also can use a stripper.
that's what I use, but
yeah, I mean they're working their way through college, so they'll get up in the corners and stuff.
I was there. I heard stripper. I was like, hey, strippers need money too.
Exactly. They're working their way through college, baby. But no, you can get there's some strippers that you can get. There's one that's for orange. I think it's called orange peel. Is what it's called.
Yeah, orange peel is the best.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I've used. But the trim on it is very, very detailed, and it's very hard to get some of the stuff out.
Yeah,
so that's kind of
so maybe sandblasting might be your best, and maybe
sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, and I mean you can get sand as long as make sure it's dry. If not, it'll clump and it'll clog your sprayer for that out.
50-pound portable abrasive blaster kit.
Telling you, they got everything, baby. Now, in literally, when you get stuff like this, like the dust collector, it's a good just gem. So they have gems and they have junk, and so you just got to pick which one is which. They also have a welder at Harbor Freight. That's amazing.
See, my grandfather has a theory, and I enjoy sharing it. If it can kill you, don't buy it there. If it ain't going to kill you, go ahead.
Well, I mean, that welding machine that they got, that's a pretty nice one. It's not something that you're going to use industrial on a job site every day.
Yeah.
But as a hobbyist, it's perfect. And it does all different types of welding. So they got some certain things that are really nice there. And then some things that will fall apart before you even get it out of the box. So
yeah, it's a 50-50, really.
Yes. What I always do is I ask around about people that have bought things like that paint sprayer HBO.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
thing's amazing, and it's $15, and usually you can get it on sale, and you get it for like 10. I'll buy 5 or 6 of them because I don't feel like cleaning a paint sprayer.
Yeah, they have the walnut shell 24 grit. They have glass speed, black aluminum. Wait, I will say, and I'll give Harbor Freight its credit. So at my other job, not their first job, the other job, they have a set of tools there that are Harbor Freight or something very similar. And the drill they have, the power drill, I've been working there 6 months, never charged it. I've used it consistently. Like even do the whole guy thing where when I'm walking down the halls during the day, not so much at night, running with the drill, had not charged at one time.
Watch some guys behind him charging and putting the battery back. He just doesn't know it.
There's no other guy. It's just me. It would be funny though.
Matt, what's going on with you, buddy?
Brother, it's been busy. I finally, actually today's podcast kind of marks a little breather for me because I don't have anything I have to work on right after I'm done. I get to go hang out and watch TV or play video games after this.
Wow.
So you guys know that I went to training. I talked about this last week. I went to 9-level training. I was there for 2 weeks. I finished 6 jobs. Well, while I was at 9-level training at Shepherd for 2 weeks, I picked up some jobs. Then picked up jobs on my way back. Like, no BS flying. I'm sitting in the airport. Hey, can you make this? Sure. When by when? Oh, like next week. Oh, shit. Yeah, sure. Fine. Why not? Because I know what it takes. We've talked about this multiple times where, like, we know mentally what a certain project will take, what the lift is going to be, and if it's feasible. Well, unfortunately, even against my best judgment, I still take jobs on because I make it happen. As we said, makers make it happen. It's just what it is, what we do. But I finally caught up as far as the last minute jobs. I delivered the last one today. It was awesome. And I actually had to make an audible and also ate a little bit of cost, if you will. The person was nice enough to tip me a good amount to maybe make up for some things I may or may not have given a sob story, small one. And I'll explain. So I make these mock-up side plates. Now, they're not perfect. Okay, I drew these out of a technical diagram. They're not, they're not perfect. Okay, but they meet the intent of what they want.
Yeah,
it's a bomb rack side plate, and it's to size. It's to scale of what the actual one is. I hand drew / traced all these things because the tracing out of a technical order is not necessarily easy because of how pixelated it was. But I did my best and I did my thing. Well, they wanted a light up version. It's the PCS version or permanent change of station version. I have a permanent change of like unit or squadron or what's called a PCA, where they just go from one unit to the next on the same base, but then they have one where they leave the base. Those ones that I make for when people leave are just out of cherry, basic, piece of wood with some engraving with some words. Cool, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But then the PCS ones, they have lights and they have a standoff and all these things. In my trek to make this, I learned some things. Menards has a lot of awesome things. It's $9.99 for a 12-foot roll of LEDs with adhesive on the back with the USB connection. I just have to supply the USB battery pack, which are like $3.99 on Amazon. So I get that way cheaper. It comes with a remote and everything, so it's way good to go. So I put this together. That was today's job. However, I charge $175 for those normally. Okay. Or no, sorry. Rephrase. $125 normally because it's for weapons people. I hook them up. They're my career field. I just do them a solid. Donate some of my time. Problem was I didn't have the material I needed to make one. The material I needed was gray acrylic. I only had 24 by 8. That's a smaller version of what I could have or what I was supposed to make. So I asked the guys, hey, man, I can make a smaller version or a full size. If I have to make the full size, it's going to hurt my soul a little bit because of what I'm going to have to do. So instead of using cherry and acrylic, I used walnut and cherry. I told him, hey, man, I'm still going to, charge what I quoted you because I thought I had what I had. I did not. So I ate some cost. I would have charged $175 to $200 for it. I charged him $125.
No, look at
He
you.
did tip me a little more
Oh,
to kind of cover some of that cost. Now, mind you, I still made a little money on it before he tipped me. He made it a little sweeter
yeah.
by giving me money, which makes it easier for me to hook them up when they need me to hook them up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was cool. So I made that Mass Art shadow box that I accidentally carved a couple months ago, and then ended up selling it on the back end. That was delivered today. Person came in, picked it up today. That was awesome. That was a hurry up and get it done this weekend because I was falling behind on that, but it's done now. I finished a last minute, like, brother, this guy is retiring like next week, and he wanted it like tomorrow or on Wednesday. And I'm like, that's not going to make it there, Chief. Like, when's the actual deadline? He said July 1st. Like, oh, thank God. So I bought a $28 pine sword from Amazon. I disassembled it and reassembled it with new pieces. I put walnut on it. I put cherry on it and made it look a million times better. Josh, that's the one you saw.
Yep.
Beforehand, it was just a pine lotus, like the what the hell is it called? Gladiator. You're free from slavery sword, like from the Gladiator movie.
Yeah.
So it was one of those, and I took it and made it into an actual sword. It was supposed to resemble Order of the Sword type deal, because I couldn't make a saber in that amount of time. The time he gave me was not feasible. So I made that plaque. He paid it quick and in full, and it made it out its way to the door yesterday. But on the forefront, I have so I've made some things for North Carolina. They love my work there for some odd reason. I think I'm substandard at best, but they ordered 2 shadow boxes, but one is not necessarily ordered yet. It's a future shadow box, like September, October.
Oh, okay.
His wife is retiring in a month. I'm making that one for them. And then he's like, hey, man, and also, just so you know, mine's coming on the back end as well around September, October timeframe. I'm like, sick. Like, thank you for letting me know, because now I can mentally prepare for that, and then I can go ahead and go forth and conquer. However, and if anybody's listening, I've never hid my pricing, right? I am going up on my pricing. I'm not making nearly enough for the stuff I make. And it's not because I'm being greedy, but it's because I have equipment to pay off. I have to pay myself. Materials have got more expensive. I unfortunately have to go up on my price. I think I'm pretty on par with the market, but I think I provide a premium product. And I don't really leave many stones unturned when it comes to the stuff that I make. So, and I do whatever people want, If they want me to make something specific, I do that.
Yeah.
And then, and in the spirit of that Coast Guard shadow box that got broken by UPS, I got the guy his refund. I refunded him his money, and his dad's going to fix it for him. So I'll never have to see that shadow box again. His dad's going to fix it because his dad was a woodworker. He just can't make, I guess, that stuff because he didn't have a CNC or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But yeah, a lot of stuff on the forefront, a lot of things that I just got to make, got to get it done. I can take a day or two breather, thankfully. Unless someone hits me with like another last minute job, then I'll of course take it because I like, getting that random money that I wasn't expecting. Money. But I am going to tell you, once I pay this card off, or at least close to paying it off, I'm probably going to shut down the shop for a couple months. I need to. I've been pretty. Yeah, I like doing this stuff, man, and it's fine. And business is business, but. I got too much shit going on, man. Like,
vanilla ice cream can be your favorite ice cream, but if you eat it every day, day in, day out, you know what? You're gonna get tired of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, for sure.
Say.
And it's mostly because of my job right now. Okay, I'm trying to go for the next rank, and it's hard to do that when I can't. I focus on work, the extracurricular stuff for work, the softball and extra, intramurals with the airmen. Okay, because that's how I connect with them. Mm-hmm. Knowing my job and then getting ready for an inspection in August. My brother's getting married in August, so I'm going away then. I got a bunch of stuff going on. And I still got to etch like 300 glasses or 300 shot glasses for that shit. So that's going to be great.
Yeah, I've seen one of those before. I didn't get to have it, but I saw one.
Yeah, right?
That was my wife's as soon as it got here. So
Yeah. So I will take a break for a little bit. Will I take the one-offs? Like if it's like a one shadow box in like a month, I'll do that because that's like $400 or $500. You know what I mean? Why not take that? And I've got it down to a science now. Like I know exactly how I'm making it. All my frames are the same. The facade is the only thing that changes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So that's what's going on in the shop. I cleaned it finally after destroying it before I left.
Yeah. That in itself is a whole task. Just cleaning.
Yeah. I enlist my son though. He's free labor.
I need one of those. Yeah. Mine have all moved away. So
just say, hey, I need you. Hey, come see me. Hey, by the way, I need you to help me clean my shop.
Bring your friends. I'll put them to work.
But soon enough, I'm going to make my son his own account, and I'll be paying him to do things. He'll never know that I'm paying him, but I'll pay him to do things.
Yeah.
In the shop. So that way when he goes to college and I say, hey, bro, so I've been saving this up for you. Here you go.
Nice.
But anyways, that's all I got going on. Not a whole lot less. Or
cool.
A whole lot more. So.
Well, you guys just gave me a whole bunch of things I need to buy and a whole bunch of things I need to do in the shop. So I'm going to be busy.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Josh, move at your own pace, brother.
I think it all has to do with different points of view. Yes. You know, you can skin a cat a bunch of different ways, but until you hear somebody talk about it a different way, then you go, you know what? I've never thought about it that way.
Well, then also go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to butt in there, but it's funny that you brought me in that direction because I've been looking for something like that. And I just never knew it was a thing at that level. When I think of like sandblasting, I'm thinking about the whole cabinet and I'm like, it's just not going to happen. But
yeah.
Guess where I'm going tomorrow.
Well, so another thing too with like the whole like how we talk about things differently is not necessarily that we talk about differently, but like let's say you Matt or even Josh, you might be thinking the same thing. You might be having the same issues. You could be thinking of different ways to do the same thing that this other person's doing. They put it in such a way, or they even mention it. You're like, oh well, I'm not the only one dealing with this. So how are you doing it? So maybe I can help myself.
Yeah.
So realistically, every maker out there has an issue with something in the shop, something in life, whatever the case may be. And I think us being able to talk about it and bring it to light, it kind of like levels with everybody because everyone always thinks that their problem is unique to them. It's really not. Someone somewhere out there has the exact same problem you're having right now.
Exactly.
Whether shop or life. And that's why we do this. We talk about these things because if someone listens to it, it might one day they listen to they can listen to one episode, and then that's the episode. They're like, "Oh shit, that sounds right. Like that's what I need to do."
Exactly,
and that's our goal. So
it was like I was on the we have a chat that we get in every Saturday night at 10:00 Eastern, and I was in it and just. I happened to ask the question, and I usually don't ask a lot of questions. I just, I listen, and just hopefully information comes to me. But I asked a question, and I always thought of CNC bits as CNC bits, and drill bits as drill bits.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they're different. And so I said, what if I were to put my wow, it just blew out of my mind right now. Hold on.
A drill bit on your CNC?
A drill bit on my CNC, basically a pre-drill. What the heck is that called?
A drill mill?
No. Flares it out so you can put a drill screw in. Countersink bit inside my CNC. And they were like, yeah, you can do that. That's super easy. And I'm like, really? Can I? Got off the stoop at 2:00 in the morning and went out there. Put it in there and
do anything once, man.
I mean, in theory, yeah, you could. You measure the amount of depth that it makes that impression, and
yeah,
I don't see why it wouldn't work.
It worked perfect.
Shit, perfect. I need to do that now. I need to do that for my backers. That's a great idea, Matt. I'm using that.
Yeah,
well,
I just thought.
There's one thing I want to highlight on this entire thing is, Matt, man, you've added to our shops in many different ways, in both talking about different ways of doing things with your unique mindset, and storming outside. My phone keeps going off. And then I lost my train of thought. Adding to our shops in many different ways, but like also a sounding board, and like you've provided different things to our shops that have just changed the game. I am beyond excited to see what you come up with next, because the engineer mindset that you have is making things easier, and like we're gonna see some big things from you coming up. I know it for a fact. So,
well, I appreciate that. I just look at something and I go, there's got to be an easier way. I'm fat and I'm lazy and I don't want to do it that way. So it's got to be a better way to do it. I mean, it's kind of like I showed you on my staircase. Most people, if they see that staircase in my shop, oh, OSHA's this, OSHA that. OSHA ain't gonna be in my shop.
Yeah,
and that's
last
an easy
time I
way
checked,
for me.
the garage shop doesn't have OSHA, so you can go kiss my right
Exactly.
and my left.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I said on the shop tour. If you watch the shop tour, I showed my staircase. I finally showed it to the world, but yeah, it makes it super easy for me to get up on that mezzanine. I ain't got to use a ladder. I'm not falling off. I'm not worried about dropping anything. I got a hand armrest for it. It works perfect. Handrail for it. It works great. So it's just coming up with easy ways to make your life easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, with that, guys, great episode. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Before we do, Matt, do you have anything to share? Like anything to close this out?
What I got going on, like I said, is I'll have that Onefinity build going on. I have my table that I made for it build, and then Wednesdays, Creative Makers Podcast, 8:30 Eastern Time on YouTube's. Check us out. If not, you can check us out on the replays. They're 5 weeks behind, but it's on an Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any podcast that's out there, we're on there. So nice. Check us out. Give us 10 stars.
10 stars.
10. Not
10.
5, 10.
10.
With all your accounts.
Exactly.
So I guess it's to me now. Words of wisdom. Not very wise. Not very old either. No, hey, but on a real note, so I've listened to the Creative Maker podcast, and they've got some pretty good stuff. And the cool thing is about the podcast world. Yes, we all have kind of the same. Well, I would like to think some of us have the same goal in mind, and that's to help makers out in some way or another. We all have our ways of doing it. We have different segments, different ways of delivering information. That's the beautiful thing about this community is we all have different ways of delivering information. Between the Sawdust Nation podcast, Creative Maker podcast, Off the Cuff podcast, another Woodshop podcast, for as much as it pains me to mention that podcast because I would like to think they're competitors, maybe. I don't know. But we all deliver information in such a way that not everyone's going to maybe understand what we're saying, but they can understand what Matt's podcast is saying, But it could be the same thing, just different.
Just said a different way. Yep.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do here. So if I'm to give any kind of words of wisdom, is if you don't understand something from one avenue, explore another. Find another podcast, find another website, find another Google search that you didn't think of. Phrase things in a way that will help you understand. Because I can tell you what, the thing we all have in mind in this makers community is helping each other out. And however we get to that end state, that's really the story that's written is how we get there.
Yep.
So hopefully you all enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully you enjoy every other podcast to listen to. And give us good ratings. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like, because we can't help you if you don't tell us what you want, what you really, really want. Yes, I brought it back. Let's go. But hey, seriously, guys, keep taking care of each other. It's been a treat being on the podcast as usual and talking to you all wherever you're listening us to. So, Josh, finish us up, buddy.
Well, Matt, thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
First time having you on.
Yeah.
There will be more if you're willing. Awesome guy to talk to, both on and off the podcast. If you're not following him, give him a follow on Instagram, YouTube, and all of his accounts. Listen to the podcast. Thank you for listening. Try to get into the shop, make some sawdust. And with that, Sawdust Nation podcast out.
I'm not wearing any pants.
I'm not wearing underwear.
No pants, pantalones.